UFC 304 was a super interesting card and not in a good way. I mean, you had seven straight decisions on this card. This card was so bad. Dana White said, don't ask him to up the bonus ever again because it does not make people fight any harder. I don't even know where to start on this card, what to talk about. We'll start with the early prelim we picked, then we'll get into the last three fights of the main card. This is gonna be a short video today, so we have Muhammad Makayev and Manel Cape. It's honestly not even worth talking about. You had the number six ranked. It had the number six ranked. You know why Muhammad had the number six ranked? Because Dana White is not bringing him back to the UFC. I don't know what happened, if it was the lead up to the fight or if it was the antics in the octagon. Dana White said he will not be back to the UFC. The PFL is about to get a really good undefeated fighter. This was the start of a terrible downfall of UFC 304. This is where we go on a seven straight decision streak. And I mean, they all that lead up, all that talk, all that action before the fight, and you don't put action on during the fight is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even want to. I don't even want to dwell on that fight anymore. And as I'm scrolling through this, making sure I'm not missing anything good, nope, I'm not. We'll get to Patty Pimlet and King Green. I thought this was a really, really solid fight. I mean, really good showing from both guys. I'm going to be honest. I think Bobby Green went out there and stuck to his game plan. He was putting on the pressure. He was keeping his distance. He was getting good shots, getting good kicks. What I think happened, and this is Patty Pimlet is so good on the defensive side of striking and on the ground. I think one of those kicks he landed on Bobby Green hurt Bobby's leg. He switches stances probably midway through the first round. He switches stances and later on he shoots for the takedown. I think it looked like he couldn't put a lot of pressure on his back leg. He switched stances. It looked like he couldn't put a lot on it. He was like, I need to go for this takedown. Shot for the takedown. We all know Patty Pimlet is a amazing ground specialist. I mean, this man transitioned from, and when I say a pretty deep guillotine to a triangle and then to an armbar. By the time he got the armbar, Bobby Green was already out. This man was asleep. And I mean, Bobby put on a good, I don't know what to say. King Green put on a good performance at the beginning. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. Both guys really solid fighters. Patty the Batty Pimlet finally gets a number next to his name. This is what we've all been waiting for. Patty might be the people's champ in the UFC currently because we all just want to see him win. He talks about openly battling depression. He's one of those guys that they're like, we can relate to this guy. And he's absolutely a people's champ. I want to see nothing but great things from Patty Pimlet in the UFC. What's next for him? The 155 division is deep. Let UFC 150 UFC rankings. What's next for Patty Pimlet? Let's look at these 155 rankings real quick. That is Islam, right? Yeah. We'll look towards the bottom. 15 ranked. It still says King Green. It's about to be Patty Pimlet. He could fight RDA. Ooh, Patty Pimlet, Jalen Turner could be interesting. Patty Pimlet, Benoit Saint Denis. I think Benoit Saint Denis fights soon. He either fights soon or he fought recently, and I don't remember. I don't remember if I watched it or not. Dan Hooker's about to fight. He did call out Renato Moicano. I swear Moicano had a fight coming up, though. Am I wrong? I'm wrong. Okay. I don't know if Moicano is going to want to. Patty Pimlet, I think, said he's going to go. He's taking a vacation. So maybe we'll see him again by the end of the year. Maybe we won't. I don't know. He deserves it. If we don't see Moicano, maybe we see Rafael Fiziev. When is Fiziev fighting again? Nothing. Usually it'll show their next fight, but I'm not seeing anything. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, a lot of guys I could see. I mean, I could even see him fighting Michael Chandler. His aura is just insane. Maybe, I mean, there you could throw Patty Pimlet against anyone, and he's getting that aura where that fight is gonna sell. He's a fight seller. We love to see it. Next, we have Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades. I mean, talk about a performance. Now, I was very skeptical. People saying this fight got stopped early. And to that, I have to say, you have lost your mind. Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, 255 pounds, weighing in that night, on weigh-in night, probably 270 plus the night of the fight. Tom Aspinall went out there. They were both striking pretty well. I mean, Curtis Blades was landing some really solid shots. Tom Aspinall just caught him with, I believe, what was an uppercut. It was a left hand, I think, and it rocked Curtis. The Curtis, I feel like, got stunned and tripped over his feet. He tried to get back up. He just couldn't. Tom Aspinall already on top of him. This is where the fight was good being called. When he flattened him out, that is, and we all know heavyweight fights get called early anyways. This 260 pounds of pure force, blows getting thrown to your head. And when he flattened Curtis out and was throwing those unprotected headshots, I mean, it was a great stoppage. It probably saved Curtis Blades. Probably is going to let him fight a few more years in the UFC, because that could have been really, really unfortunate had they let him knock him out right there. So I think Tom Aspinall got a really solid win right there. What is next for Tom? I think we all know. It's either going to be John Jones if he doesn't retire after the Stipe fight. May I say that no one wants to watch that fight. That's going to be really boring. Y'all can say what y'all want. It's John Jones is going to beat him the exact same way he beat Cyril Gane. So unfortunate. Tom Aspinall may be fighting John Jones. Maybe if John Jones retire and Stipe retire after that fight, we get Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira for the heavyweight strap. There's a lot of scenarios that go into it. Tom Aspinall making a case that he can go out there and beat John Jones. It's going to be super interesting. We see Tom Aspinall has the power. He has I think, the depth to his striking game. I'm not sure if he's going to have the ground game to keep up with a guy like John Jones, but if he can go in there and touch him up and keep the fight on the feet, I think anything is possible. And last but not least, the fight that I really didn't want to talk about, Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad. I just made a video talking about how Belal might really, honestly, wholeheartedly, truly be the most boring fighter in the UFC. That might sound like I'm being a hater, but if you watched that fight and you were entertained by that, you're absolutely sick. And you're going to sit here and call me a casual. I already know I'm going to get the comments, oh, you're a casual. I've done jujitsu. All right. I love the ground game. I love it. That shit was boring. That shit was boring. And I bartended at Buffalo Wild Wings, all right? And I've never seen a place clear out so quick midway through a main event of a UFC fight. I mean, everyone knew it was just terrible. It was just absolutely terrible. The one highlight from it, Belal was getting some really good takedowns. I'm going to say that. Shout out Habib, because Belal was in there looking ripped, getting nice takedowns. He just couldn't finish the fight. I mean, I'm not going to hate on Belal too much. He went out there, he stuck to his game plan. He did what he needed to do to get the strap. Shout out him becoming a champion. I think he deserves it. He seems like a really good, genuine guy. He seems like he really cares about the fight game. He really cares about his career. He went and took his camp out there with Habib because he wanted to, for 3 years, he said for 3 years he had to listen to how he could not beat Leon. And he went out there and got it done. It's a good story. I'm not hating on it. It was just boring. And I get that. That's what he had to do to win. He knew he couldn't sit there and box with Leon. He doesn't have great head movement. We could see that in the fight. Leon was landing some really good shots. He just put it on too late in the fight. Shout out Belal. I think you did great. It was just boring. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the strap. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate. It was if you could have switched Leon Edwards and Tom Aspinall, that fight, it might have been a lot better. We wouldn't have ended the night with a bad taste in our mouth. But I mean, Belal got it done. Leon, and Belal's a boring fighter. I think Leon's a boring fighter. He just happens to have one of the best knockouts in UFC history. So Belal has never knocked anyone down. That's what I've seen. I need to go back and watch a lot. I'm not going to go back and watch any of his fights. I've just seen I know he has not TKOs. I know he TKO'd Sean Brady on the feet. I guess he just never knocked anyone out cold. So, I mean, what can you do? He's a decision machine. It happens. I mean, we watched Tyron Woodley defend the belt boring for years. So, all right, guys, that is my bad. What's next for these guys? Leon said he wants to fight before the year's over. I don't know if they're going to run it back. I don't know what could be next. I mean, honestly, for entertaining purposes, I want to watch either Ian Gary and Colby fight, or I want to watch Colby and Belal fight. Colby losing all those fights in a row would be ridiculous to get another title shot, though. Or I guess losing every. What's Colby looking like? Let's see. I can't say all those fights in a row. I mean, he's lost every title fight he's had. We could see him fight Belal. Those press conferences would be absolutely ridiculous. I really kind of want to see him fight Ian Gary, though. Belal, maybe if they don't rerun it, if Leon and Belal don't rerun it, I'm thinking if Leon and Belal don't rerun it. For Leon, I'm thinking I could see him fighting Ian Gary. I'm not gonna lie, or Joaquin Buckley. No, I think Buckley has a fight coming up. Here, y'all ready? Let's see Ian Gary fight Leon, and let's see Colby Covington fight Belal. There we go. Shavkat might fight somebody. I don't know. Has he fought this year? I guess we're due a Shavkat fight. I feel like he hasn't fought in like 3 years, so he fights like maybe once a year. So that is the end of our UFC 304 rant. It wasn't a great card. It was actually pretty, until the end, boring, I guess. I just sound like a casual saying that, but I love the fight game, but dear God, seven straight decisions is absolutely sickening. So that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what y'all rate this card. Let me know what you think is next for all of these fighters down in the comments. Don't forget, like and follow.